So, I know this is different from my other content, but I really just had to make this video. So, The Secret of the Mimic comes out tomorrow at the time of this video coming out. And I think we have a lot of questions. So, I'm going to explain all about The Secret of the Mimic before it even comes out. Will I get it right? Probably not. But we have to at least give it a try. So, to start it off, who do we play as? I know this is a question that a lot of people have been theorizing about. Some people think that we do as Team B or C, or because we already know that the Mimic has been killing people inside its little kind of manor. I don't remember what the name was, but I'm sorry. I'm not good with names. But for who we play as, I saw a lot of people talking about how it might be Team C. And I don't really think that's true, because if two people already died at the location, why would Fazbear send more teams out if they know they're not going to come back and they're all going to die? And as we see in the trailer, the Mimic has legs. In the books, the Mimic didn't have legs until after Team B. And I feel like that confirms that the Fazbear franchise looked at that and was just like, we need to send the big guns. And I don't think we play as Edwin either, because, as we know, he's probably just off the radar. I mean, he was around during Security Breach, which means that he's still part of Fazbear, but he's been kind of gone. And in the game, we see that who we play as, it just seems to be one person as well. But I don't think it's Edwin. Some people think it's Afton, which I do think could be true. I do honestly think that it could be Afton, but I don't think that Afton's much of the technician at the time, because at the time of recording, I don't know if you're watching this in the future, more games have probably come out already, but at the time, we don't really have an answer until when Afton got into mechanics. Which is why I think that, he couldn't have, been the technician guy. Which only leaves one more option, Henry. Henry, in my opinion, makes the most sense as who we play as. It could be, anyone else, but it has to be Henry. Because Henry is the main guy at Fazbear at the time. And he knows the most about technology, because he made almost all of the animatronics by himself. Which makes me think that maybe it's possible that, Henry could be our character as we play as. Especially because he is alive at the time. And I think that, matters more. So, that's who I think that we play as in A Secret of the Mimic. I could be wrong, but this is who I think it is. And I saw a lot of people saying that it was Henry. But for the people who didn't know, I wanted to reinforce the idea of that it might be Henry. Or I think it's gonna be Henry that we're playing as, because it would only make the most sense. As well as this seems to be a single player game. And while it would be cool that Fazbear would make a multiplayer game, like Steel Wool would make a multiplayer game, I would love to see that. I doubt they'd do that for this much lore. I mean, they're gonna make a VR game, but since it had this much lore in it, they had to make it, this the kind of game it is, a PC game. So that's why I think that we're only playing as one person, and I think that person is Henry. Next is more of a theory in of itself, for just a thing that I hope will happen, but I think we're going to find out a lot more about Afton. Because, like I said, this takes place in the earliest date we have in the FNAF series, 1979. Which is, again, the earliest date we have. The earliest date we had was 1983, which was the bite of 83, because that was the only date we had. And now we have 1979, where the crying child didn't die, or Dave. I say crying child, but I also say Dave. This is a time where Dave didn't die. He didn't get bit. And it's a time where Afton was still alive. He didn't get spring locked until later in the story. But I do think that we're going to find more about Afton, especially because of the Fall Fest. We learn a lot about Fall Fest in this story. And we're going to learn a lot about what he did as well. Because we see a DJ Music Man just around. But I'm wondering, why is DJ Music Man there? Because DJ Music Man has always been like an enigma for me. Because some people think that he's part of the fun time, some people think that he's part of other things. But for me, I don't think that DJ Music Man was ever supposed to be an Afton creation. I do think it was supposed to be an Edwin creation. Because remember, Fall Fest and DJ Music Man, he doesn't look like a DJ or like a maestro, but he does look a lot like a carny. A very common thing you would see at a carnival, which I think would make most sense if maybe Edwin made this, but Afton just kind of took it for himself, which honestly does seem like an Afton thing to do, because he's insane. And that actually brings me to the next idea. I think that Afton had killed the kids before his son had died. And I know people will probably be very upset about this, but please hear me out when I say this. I think that Afton had killed the kids way before, because we see in the Secret of the Mimic trailer that there's human bodies in the mascot suits, which did start to get me thinking, because the mimic, it's a mimic. It mimics things that it sees. And what had it like put things into suits? Because I don't know, maybe they had it like go into other suits or put like animatronics into suits, but it was still weird. We've only seen that behavior once, and that was with William. We never saw it anywhere else in the franchise, which really makes me think that maybe he was training the mimic, especially because, you know, the whole glitch trap is the mimic theory. That's very popular, and it's basically canon by now. But still, because it would only make sense that Afton had killed the kids earlier, because where would the mimic get the idea from? Because maybe it was like a code that they put in him to put like animatronics into suits, like endoskeletons, like, you know, how they did in FNAF 1. That would be a pretty cool callback, but still, the human bodies is what really gets to me. The human bodies that were in those suits. It had to learn that. And who else would it learn from but William? William is the only person in this franchise who has ever stuffed anyone into a suit. And that probably means that maybe they were training the mimic. That also gets me thinking, maybe that's because why William didn't want to go, and that's why I think that we play as Henry. That's because, like, why would he willingly want to go to get the mimic if he knows he's probably gonna die? And even though he might have control over the mimic, that may not be the reason why Henry goes. I think because in the story, it's pretty obvious that Henry likes William, but William hates Henry. We know that because he's always been jealous of him. Because, you know, he kind of stole his like idea for animatronics. That's why I'm starting to think that maybe William was hoping Henry would die, so he would be the one getting all the rights to Fazbear and all the knowledge that Henry had. And I think that would make the most sense, because why else would Henry be the one going, other than one, he's the technician, and two, maybe William wanted him to die. And if we do play as William, then that means this story probably has a happy ending, or it ends with Fazbear taking the mimic. And I don't know, I just think it's most likely that maybe William wanted Henry to go, because it would just kind of make the most sense. But yeah, those are the three main theories that I have about the FNAF Secret of the Mimic trailer and what it's going to mean tomorrow. Because, I mean, at the time of the recording, it's not tomorrow. I'm probably editing this and then I posted it, but still. I think that in the Secret of the Mimic trailer, or in the game, sorry, that we'll be playing as Henry Emily. we will be going to the manor and fighting the Mimic. Also seeing how the Mimic learned from Afton and learning more about Afton and the stuff that he made. Because it would only make sense for the Mimic to copy Afton's behavior. And yeah, that is my main theory for Secret of the Mimic. If you made it all the way through, thank you so much for watching. I know this is really different from all my other content, but I really like Five Nights at Freddy's and literally all other indie horror games. So if you want to see more of this content, please let me know, because I would adore doing more of this. So thank you so much. Have a good day, and yeah. See ya. Love yourselves.